Being a nice guy is the most expensive subscription to humiliation you have ever signed up for. You pay for it with your time, your resources, and your masculine dignity, receiving in return only fake smiles and the status of a convenient tool. In nature, excessive softness is a defect that is subject to immediate disposal. Machiavelli explicitly stated that it is better to be cruel and inspire fear than to be kind and depend on someone else's mercy. Stop apologizing for existing. Your kindness is a poison that paralyzes your will and turns your life into an endless session of serving the interests of others. You feel this sticky, suffocating lump in your throat every time you agree to another small request that cancels your plans for the evening. This is not kindness. It is a spasm of a slave soul that is deathly afraid of disappointing others. You feel a physical weight in your chest when you see how people you have helped for years suddenly forget your existence as soon as you run out of resources or patience. Your shoulders are slumped under the weight of other people's problems that you voluntarily took upon yourself, hoping to buy a drop of sincere respect with them. But instead of respect, you feel only cold, calculated neglect. You feel like a doormat at the entrance to someone else's success. They wipe their feet on you, and you even apologize for not being soft enough. This pain penetrates deeper than just social awkwardness. It eats away at your biological essence. Every time you pull this helpful grimace onto your face, your testosterone level drops, giving way to cortisol, the hormone of chronic stress and defeat. You feel your masculine identity literally evaporating, leaving behind an empty shell filled with other people's expectations. You feel physical nausea when you realize that your holiness is just a disguise for your horror of conflict. You are afraid to raise your voice, afraid of a direct gaze, afraid to declare your right, because deep down, you believe that you are not worth this right if someone else is dissatisfied. Remember those nights when you lie in the dark and your brain, like a broken record, replays the moments of your humiliation. You remember how a colleague dumped their work on you and you just nodded and said, "Sure, no problem." You remember how the woman you like uses you as a girlfriend to complain about her bad boyfriends, and you submissively listen, hoping that someday she will appreciate your goodness. She despises you for the lack of a spine, for your predictability, for being a safe harbor where there are never any storms. You feel the cold of loneliness even when surrounded by people, because these are people who love not you but your functionality as a free service. Your life has turned into an endless waiting room for gratitude. You accumulate these invisible loyalty points, hoping that someday a day of reckoning will come, and the world will say, "You are so good, here is your reward." But that day will never come. In the world of predators, there is no bookkeeping of good deeds. There is only a hierarchy of strength and utility. You feel your will atrophying, turning into a flabby muscle. You can no longer remember what you yourself want. Your desires are buried under a layer of "I must help." It is awkward to refuse. I have to be a human being. This is a slow suicide of the personality. You're on your knees, stretching out your resources on open palms and wondering why people just take them and leave without even looking you in the eye. Feel the taste of this bitterness. It is the taste of unrealized potential rotting inside you. You could be building empires. You could be dominating your niche. You could be inspiring awe and admiration. But instead, you spend your best years smoothing corners in other people's conflicts. You feel yourself aging faster than the rest because the weight of other people's lives that you carry on your back is breaking your spine. Your hands tremble with suppressed rage that you are afraid to release, because then you will stop being a nice guy. And this fear of losing your status as a convenient fool is your most terrifying prison. Feel the walls of this cage. Why does the world punish you for your kindness? Machiavelli in the 15th chapter of The Prince gives a cruel but honest answer. He who wants to be good in everything and at all times will inevitably perish among so many who are not good. The psychological mechanism here is simple. Your softness is perceived not as a virtue, but as an absence of threat. In biology, an individual that poses no threat automatically sinks to the bottom of the hierarchy. People are predators in suits, and when they see a nice guy, their instincts tell them, "Here you can take without giving anything in return." Your politeness is read as weakness, and weakness is an invitation to exploitation. Let us break this down through the prism of dark psychology. The human psyche is designed so that we only value resources that are hard to get. When you make yourself available 24/7, when you agree to any conditions, you reduce your market value to zero. You are an inflationary currency. Your kindness becomes an expected norm rather than a valuable gift. Machiavelli emphasized that people are by nature ungrateful and fickle. As long as you are useful to them, they are yours, but as soon as you demand something in return, they will be the first to stab you in the back because they do not respect you. Respect is born from the realization that you can be dangerous. If you cannot cause harm, your kindness has no weight. It is simply a lack of choice. Arthur Schopenhauer, in his works on egoism, pointed out that every person is the center of their own world, and everything else is merely a means to achieve their goals. Your mistake is that you try to make yourself a means for the goals of others, hoping for reciprocity. But in reality, you simply smooth their path to triumph while staying in the dust by the roadside. Your brain deceives you using social approval mechanisms that were important in a tribal society. But today, these mechanisms are used against you. Your striving to be good is a software error exploited by manipulators and psychopaths. They sense your lack of boundaries and latch on to you like parasites sucking out your time and energy. Furthermore, the nice guy often suffers from hidden arrogance. You think that you are better and more moral than others because you endure and help. But Machiavelli would call this stupidity, not morality. True morality requires strength to protect the good. What you are doing is encouraging insolence and parasitism. You make the world worse by allowing scoundrels to use you with impunity. You are an accomplice in your own oppression. Why should the world respect you if you do not respect yourself enough to say no? Why should a woman want you if she sees that you cannot protect even your own interests? Your strategy is a path to biological and social extinction. Your problem lies in a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of power. Power is not given to those who ask. It is taken by those who claim the right to it. Your kindness is a renunciation of power. You voluntarily castrate your will, hoping that this will bring you peace. But it brings you only slow decay. Schopenhauer wrote that the world is an arena of the struggle of wills. And if your will is directed toward adapting to others, you are simply building material for other people's castles. Your goodness is your epitaph, written while you are still alive. You must realize, either you become a factor of strength that must be reckoned with, or you remain background noise that the world will eventually just turn off. The first step is radical egoistic isolation. First, you must declare a moratorium on any free services and help as a favor for 30 days. This time is necessary to clear your field of social parasites. The pain here is that you will feel bad, cold, and like a traitor, but this is your therapy. The Machiavellian approach requires testing your environment for strength. You will see how 90% of your friends disappear the very second they realize you are no longer a source of free resources. This is a painful but necessary amputation of rotten connections. The second step is linguistic disinfection. Remove from your lexicon phrases like, "It is not hard for me," "No big deal," "It is fine," and most importantly, "Sorry," unless there is direct guilt. Every sorry without an objective reason is an act of capitulation before someone else's ego. Your new response to a request that is disadvantageous or simply uninteresting to you is, "No, that does not work for me," without explanations. Remember, explanations are a form of justification that a slave provides to a master. A sovereign does not explain his decisions. He broadcasts them. The third step is establishing a tariff on attention. Your time is the only irreplaceable resource. Start evaluating every minute of your communication in terms of return on investment. Schopenhauer called for aristocratic solitude for a reason. It is better to be in a void than to fill yourself with other people's garbage. Become inaccessible. Let people exert effort to gain access to you. The fourth step is visual aggression and dominance. Your body must stop apologizing for taking up space. Straighten your shoulders, raise your chin, remove that ingratiating smile from your face. Your gaze should be direct, calm, and heavy. In any conversation, pause before answering. This is a sign that you are processing information rather than just reflexively trying to please. Occupy space. If you are sitting, do not cross your legs or arms. Broadcast the confidence of a predator who is calm because he knows his strength. The fifth step is the provocation of controlled conflict. Start defending your boundaries in small things. Were you brought cold coffee? Return it. Were you interrupted in conversation? Stop and say, I have not finished. Taste the defense of your territory. Nice guys fear anger, considering it's something low. But a Machiavellian leader knows anger is a tool for calibrating boundaries. You do not need to shout. You need to learn to broadcast a cold rage that makes the opponent feel a biological danger. The sixth step is the rejection of social validation. The approval of others is a drug that you must give up to gain independence. If you're comfortable with being bad in the eyes of others, you become invulnerable. Machiavelli wrote that people judge by appearance, and only a few touch the essence. Let their judgment be their problem, not yours. Your soul must become an impenetrable fortress, where only you are the judge and the executioner. Stop being a soul. Become the one who defines the conditions of his own stay in this hell. Your sovereignty is absolute. When the silence around your no becomes denser and heavier than any attempts to bend you. Ultimately, dominance is the freedom to be yourself without censorship. It is the right to establish your rules and punish for their violation. Your new world is a world of clear boundaries, a high price for your time, and absolute loyalty to your goals. You are no longer convenient, you are necessary. And necessary and dangerous people are respected, admired, and obeyed. You have emerged from the slavery of the nice guy and stepped onto the path of a titan. This is a path of loneliness, but it is loneliness at the summit, not in the gutter. Carry your new state with the pride of a Machiavellian prince. You are the law, you are the power, you are the sovereign. Your subscription to humiliation is cancelled right now. You're no longer a nice guy. You are a lone wolf who chooses his own pack or goes alone to the top. The world no longer punishes you. It begins to study you because you have become unpredictable and dangerous. Your every action is now saturated with will and calculation. Leave politeness for the weak. Leave reliability for slaves. Your time of greatness begins with the first no that you utter with icy calm in your eyes. Forward to your triumph over the wreckage of other people's expectations. Your path as a sovereign is open.